Hey, I get it. Standing in the middle of a busy job site, trying to decide whether that pricey rotary laser is really worth the investment can feel like a gamble. You've probably seen a few videos, skimmed a spec sheet, maybe even read a couple of best of lists, but nothing quite captures the day-to-day reality of setting up a level line on uneven terrain. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. And I'm going to walk through exactly what using the Leica Geosystems Rugby 620 feels like, so you can avoid wasting time and money on a tool that doesn't fit your workflow. First off, the whole category of rotary lasers is built around the idea of giving you a 360-degree reference line that stays level without you having to constantly check a bubble level. That promise sounds perfect for everything from rough grading on a new foundation to hanging drywall sheets in a cramped interior space. The catch, though, is that not every laser delivers that promise in a way that meshes with the way you actually work. Some models take forever to self-level, some wobble enough that you have to keep reaming, and others just don't give you the slope control you need when you're trying to create a gentle pitch for drainage. The Rugby 620 positions itself as a middle ground, a single-axis rotary that self-levels, but also lets you manually set a slope when the job calls for it. What makes the Rugby 620 stand out is the way Leica has packaged the self-leveling mechanism with a manual slope option that you can dial in without needing a separate device. In practice, that means you can fire the laser, watch the built-in pendulum settle, and then twist a small knob to add a 0.5% to 5% grade, all while the unit is still perched on a tripod. I tried that on a residential driveway where the existing concrete was a few inches higher at the street than at the garage. Instead of pulling a separate slope laser or doing a bunch of math, I set the Rugby 620 to a 1% downward slope and walked the entire length with a grade rod. The line stayed true, and the rod never showed a deviation larger than a millimeter. That kind of on-the-fly adjustment saved me at least an hour of measuring and a lot of frustration. Who should consider buying the Rugby 620? If you're a contractor or a serious DIYer who regularly does site layout, grading, or interior finish work where a single reference plane is enough, this laser can become your go-to tool. It shines in scenarios where you need a reliable level line quickly, and you also have occasional slope requirements. Think installing a patio with a slight drainage pitch, aligning a series of wall studs across a room, or setting up a temporary reference for a concrete slab. The unit's battery life is respectable enough to get through a full day on a medium-sized job, and the laser's visibility through light dust or low light conditions holds up better than many cheaper alternatives. On the flip side, if your work revolves around multi-axis grading, large-scale earth moving, or you need to lock in a slope and walk away for several hours while the laser maintains that angle, you might feel the Rugby 620 single-axis limitation. The manual slope knob is great for short-term adjustments, but it doesn't lock in a precise angle for extended periods the way a dedicated slope laser does. Also, the unit's self-leveling range is limited to about 4 degrees. So if you're trying to level on a very rough foundation, say a freshly poured slab that hasn't set yet, you may find the laser taking longer to lock or never reaching a true level. In those cases, a more robust, multi-axis system with a wider self-leveling envelope could be a better fit. Let's break down the practical strengths. First, the setup time is impressively short. After mounting the Rugby 620 on a sturdy tripod, you flip the power switch and the pendulum does its thing in roughly 30 seconds. That speed translates directly into productivity gains on a job where every minute counts. Second, the laser's output is bright enough to be seen through a thin layer of dust, which is a common scenario when you're working on a new foundation or a demolition site. Third, the manual slope adjustment feels solid. The knob clicks into place, and the laser maintains the set grade without drifting, which is something I've seen fumble on cheaper models. Finally, Leica's reputation for durability means the unit tolerates the occasional bump or drop without losing calibration, a real confidence booster when you're moving between different sites. Now, the practical weaknesses. The most obvious is the single-axis design. Because the laser only rotates around a horizontal axis, you can't generate a true 360-degree slope, only a level line with a manual tilt. That's fine for most interior and small exterior jobs, but it limits you when you need a sloped reference that circles an entire site, like setting up a drainage plan for a large lot. Another drawback is the lack of an integrated remote control. Some competing rotary lasers let you